Morning. As we go to the Chitas of today, we're holding the last parsha of the book of Torah, the last parsha in the book of Devarim, Zeis HaBracha. We're holding on chapter 33, verse number 1. Zeis HaBracha Shebeirach Moshe. This is the blessing that Moshe Rabbeinu blessed Ishalakim, the man of God, Bnei Yisrael, the Jewish people of name Moshe, before he passed away. Rashi says, close to his death, for it's not now, then when. Hashem, and he said, Hashem, God came from Sinai. And he shone forth to them. They're coming from Mount Seir. He appeared after coming from mountain of Paran, but also Medivus Kodesh. He came for the holy mirrors of angels. In his right hand, he gave them his law while speaking out of fire. Now she says he began first for the praises of God and then proceeded to speak of Jewish people's needs. And the praises which he began also called to mind Israel's merits. All this was done in a manner to achieve favor, as to say, these people are worthy, a blessing resting upon them. Sinai Ba, he came from Sinai, he came forth to meet them. When they came to stand at the foot of the mountain, just as a groom goes out to greet his bride, as it says, towards God, from which we learn that God came forth towards them to meet them. The Zarach v'Seir Lamei, he shone forth from Seir, where he proposed to the descendants of Esav. First he went to the descendants of Esav, who lived on Seir, that they accepted Torah, but they did not want. He appeared to them Mahar Paran, from the mountain of Paran. What's Paran? He went to the children of Ishmael that lived in Paran, and he asked them if they would accept upon themselves the Torah, but they did not want it. But also, then he came to Jews. Merivas Kodesh, and some of the holy mirrors, meaning with him were a part of the mirrors of the holy angels, but neither all of them nor most of them. Unlike a human king who displays his glory, riches, and splendor on his wedding day, the Eibush only brought a part of it on that day. Merivas Kodesh, Ve'esh Das, a fiery fire, fiery lore, which already pre-exists creation, written before him in black fire upon white fire. He gave them the tablets, inscribed with his right hand. Another explanation, Eish Das, is understood to be, by Onkelos translates it, he gave it to them while speaking out of the fire. Indeed, he showed love for his nation. Kol Kodesh, all his holy ones are in his hands. For they crowded at your feet to bear. Yisu medabrisecha, to bear responsibility of your utterances. Rashi says, he also holds the tribes most dear. Each tribe individually is called a nation. As evidence of the fact that the Holy One, blessed be he, said to Jacob, a nation and a community of nations will come forth from you. And this is after he had most of his children. He was only missing Binyamin. Binyamin was destined to be born afterwards. So the Eibush called one tribe an entire nation. Kol Kadosh B'Yedecha, all your holy ones are in your hand, meaning the souls of the righteous are stored with him. Similarly to what it says, my master soul is bound in the bond of life with God, your God. So Kol Kadosh, of those who are holy, are with him. Ve'heim tukul raglecha, they are crowded at your feet. They are worthy of this blessing. For at Sinai, they converged into the area beneath the mountain. Tuku is plural passive form. They are gathered within the area of your footstool of the mountain. Yisem edabrisecha, they bear your utterances. They took upon themselves the yoke of Torah. Midabrisecha, the mem, a similar root to letter. He would hear the voice of middaber. I heard the verse. So the mem is to teach us that it's what the Yidden heard. But Onkelos translates it that they would travel in accordance to your word. Interpretation of men as preposition used in a sense from your words, that they travel from you. Another explanation, even when the nations of the world are shown favor, when you showed them a smiling countenance and delivered Israel into their hands. Kol Kadesha Be'edecha, all your holy ones are your hands. All Israel righteous are worthy people, remaining loyal to you and did not stop following you, and you therefore protect them. They crowd at your feet, meaning they gather and enter under your shadow. They bear your utterances, they joyfully accept your decrees and laws. For these are their words. Torah tziva lanu Moshe, the Torah which Moshe commanded us. Meirasha kehilas Yaakov is a legacy and assembly to the assembly of Yaakov. Now she says Moshe, the Moshe commanded us, is an inheritance for the assembly of Yaakov. We have taken possession of it and will never let it go. When he is king over Yeshurun, and blesses them when the totality of other people are gathered and the tribes of Israel are together in harmony. She says, he is. When Jews are united, he is the Holy One, blessed be. B'Yeshurun Melech, the yoke of his kingship is always upon them. When the gathering of the total number of assembly, Rashi is similar to as it says, Kisisa Reish, when you take his census. These people are worthy that I bless them. Another explanation is when they gather together as one group and there is peace amongst them, he's their king. But when they are when the dissension amongst them, verse number 6, may Reuven both live in this world and not die. May he save Mispar, and may his people be counted amongst the number of tribes. Now she says, Yechi Reuven ba'olam hazeh, in this world. Yaakov Avinu was very tough on Reuven. So Moshe Rabbeinu blessed them that they should continue. But they shouldn't even lose their world to come. Why? They should not be reminded of the story of Bilah where Yaakov Avinu cursed Reuven that he played around with Bilah's bed. Now she says, may he be counted amongst the number of the rest of his brothers. This is similar to the idea stated in the verse. Reuven had relation with Bilah, and the sons of Yaakov were 12. Reuven was not excluded from the number, even though to Yaakov Avinu, Yaakov was not happy with what he did. Verse number 7 is Yehuda, and this is what I say to Yehuda. And he told him, Shema Hashem kol Yehuda, God should always listen to the voice of Yehuda. Bring him safely to his people. Yadav Rav Loi, may his hands do battle successfully. Son of Tia, and may you help him against his adversaries. Now she says, Moshe Rabbeinu put Yehuda next to Reuven, even though Yehuda doesn't go after Reuven. Reuven's the first one because he's Bechor. Should be Shimon. Why does suddenly he mention Yehuda following Reuven? Because both of them confessed their misdeeds. Both of them were Bali Tshuva. Reuven and Yehuda both did Tshuva. And they committed, as it says, for the wise acknowledged, to them alone the land was given, and no stranger passed between them. Our rabbis further explain that throughout the 40 years that the Jews were in the desert, the Yehuda's bones were rolling around in his coffin. Imagine that they traveled because they travel with the bones of the 12 tribes, the 12 tribes, the Reverend Shimon Levi. They carried them to Eretz Yisrael. You can visit the grave sites of Reuven, Levi, Shimon, all these the heads of the tribes. And it says that Yehuda's bones kept on rolling. Imagine if you would track he didn't have any menucha. His bones were rolling around in the coffin on the count of the ban he imposed upon himself. That he said, I'm giving away my worlds. Yehuda's bones, I will be sin against me, your father, for all times. Moshe Rabbeinu said, who caused Reuven to confess? It was Yehuda. So therefore, he put together, he praised Yehuda, and that gave Yehuda tranquility. He praised Yehuda. He said, the reason why Reuven confessed is because of you. And therefore, if Reuven's granted entry in afterlife, he should have Eilam Haba. You should also have Eilam Haba. And at that moment, in essence, the Medrash says that Moshe Rabbeinu gave Yehuda Elam Haba, gave him his peace in the world to come. Shema Hashem Kel Yehuda. What is he talking about? The prayers of Yehuda is David and Solomon and Asa, and they count to the Kushites, to Yeshephet, and they count to the Ammonites, and to Cheskiyahu, and the count of Sancherib. The Eibush should always listen to the prayers of the kings of Yehuda, and they should be victorious. Bring in peace in battle. The Eibush should fight his fights and carry out his vengeance, because he was the Melech, and that was his job, to protect the Jewish people. And he may help him against his adversaries. Moshe Rabbeinu here prayed for Yehoshaphat, who was one of the kings of Yehuda, regarding the battle of Ramot Gilad, where it says Yehoshaphat cried out to God to assist him. Another explanation, Shema Hashem Kol Yehuda, here alludes to the blessing for Shimon within the blessing of Yehuda, because Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't mention Shimon, and that's a shocking thing. So, but he mentions him in this blessing, Shema Hashem. Shema is the root word for Shimon. So Shema Hashem alludes to the blessing of Shimon and the blessing of Yehuda. Similarly, the land of Israel is divided. The tribe of Shimon received their territory within the portion of Yehuda. As it says, within the portion of the tribe of Yehuda was the inheritance of the tribe of Shimon. Why didn't Moshe Rabbeinu assign to the tribe of Shimon their own separate blessing? For he felt them unworthy, because what they did in Shittim, the terrible story of with thousands of Jews died because of Zimri, who created a whole situation which Pinchas had to kill him. And since that, so he was written, so it's written, God of Tillim, that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't want to mention Shimon, but he did mention him, because he mentioned him in the word Shema Hashem Kol Yehuda, that the word Shema has in it the name of Shimon. And that completes the Chumash for today. Now go to the Tanya of the day. We start a new letter of the Alter Rebbe. Yesterday we finished a long letter of the Alter Rebbe. Fascinating chapter 20, a very fascinating chapter. And now we go to the new letter of chapter 20, the letter 21. Having first duly acquired after the welfare of those who love God's name. This pastoral letter was written by the Alter Rebbe to arouse those followers about tzedakah. Again, this is a letter about tzedakah. Okay. Pledged annual contribution to Koil Chabad. This fund supported a fellow Chassidim who had settled in the land of Israel, and they now study and engage in divine service. The Alter Rebbe urges that instead of waiting until the end of the year, his followers should give part of the promised sums weekly, or at least monthly. The part of the quality of alacrity, but apart from the quality of alacrity, and then instead of waiting for the end of the year to fulfill your pledge, you start giving it ASAP, as soon as possible. So first of all, a person should do something when he makes a pledge. He should try to finish. He should try to do it. He should try to do the mitzvah ASAP. The eager presumption that ought to be displayed during the performance of a mitzvah in general. The mitzvah tzedakah in particular is an additional quality involved, as I'll soon explain. The Alter Rebbe will explain. Alter Rebbe begins this letter by greeting his fellow Jews as lovers of God's name. This appellation especially suits the helping of the brethren who serve God in the Holy Land. For upon this land, God gazes, is fixed constantly. And the verse uses God's ineffable name, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei Havaya, indicating that the land is directly illuminates by and animated by the sublime level of divinity indicated by the singular unique name of Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, as the Alter Rebbe explained many times this to us. Those amongst the people willingly volunteer to do the tzedakah of God in Eretz HaKdosha with helping out the Holy Land. They give every year a set sum of money for the land of Israel, and its most Eretz HaKodesh. Tivana v'tikane, may be rebuilt, and established b'meira b'yameinu speedily in our days. Aleim titiv ma'alosi, may my words call to them. V'tizla katazlim nasi, and may my speech trickle like dew. Lazariz lazarizim, in order to be the best bestir those who are naturally swift. But one hurries only the swift. That's expressions. Amazizim elazrizim. Those who hurry are swift. If you to begin with, I don't have the capacity of being swift, so I'm going to talk to you. So I talk to those who are swift and natural. And to strengthen the weak hands. For their unquestionable willingness is hampered only by their poverty. The Alter Rebbe was talking to Jews in Russia who extremely had their own hard times. So even though they had excitement to give tzedakah to help the Jews in Eretz Yisrael, it was not an easy thing for them to do. And therefore, as well as all the dedicated money that each individual was inspired to donate annually, and they made a vow to make this donation, which to support our brethren, those who went to live in Eretz Yisrael, every single year. So it would seem that these last lines, the Alter Rebbe means to add the following. Not only are the amounts that they usually given in previous years to be given henceforth on a weekly, monthly basis, but additionally amounts are to be divided likewise. First of all, everyone knows the great virtue of alacrity. That's what we learn from Avraham Avinu. Alacrity, lezaris, wake up in the morning. Right? God asked Avraham Avinu to go take his son. He doesn't wait till the afternoon. Gets up in him a yashkem Avram b'boiken. That's why Avram was a zoris. Which is spoken repeatedly and repeated by our sages. That all times should be prompt. You should when it comes to a mitzvah, don't wait for it. Don't wait to do it. Run to do it. It is a said Avram Avinu Hashem. And the merit, and so too the merit of the eagerness of promptness of Avram Avinu. We learn from Avram Avinu that his zaris, he was a zaris. He didn't wait. When he was asked to do something, he did it ASAP. And that stands for us. And we learn from Avram Avinu, that stands for this stands for us, and as an example, what Avram Avinu is an example for us, what means to do a mitzvah. Right? We know that Avram Avinu was sick, just had a bris, but he waited outside to have guests. He didn't have to, he was sick in bed. But he went outside because he wanted to do a mitzvah. Because the truth is, we think about it. The Akedah, that God asked him to take his son, it's not such a Avram Avinu. Jews have given up their life throughout history because it's not such a regard and so great of a test. Relation to Avram, what's so great? Avram Avinu was ready to do the Akedah. And more for it. Imagine, Yidden went on Mesiras Nefesh, and God didn't tell them. Yeah, Avram Avinu said, God tells them. So it's a shocking thing. Avram Avinu, such a holy person, is ready to go and give and do the mitzvah. What's the big deal? It's Avram Avinu. You can go, and there's an unlimited amount of people that went on Mesiras Nefesh, on self-sacrifice. God calculated Hashem. The Eibush didn't even say anything to them. God never said a word to them. And they went on self-sacrifice throughout history. How then can we consider such a great thing, Avram Avinu? Wow, what's so great that Avram Avinu was ready to take his son? Yidden gave their children and they gave themselves up in life, their lives of Kiddush Hashem. There's an unlimited amount of stories until today. So what's the big deal? The greatness of Avram Avinu was he did it with alacrity, with simcha. Jews throughout history gave their life up, lav dafka with simcha. And but Avram Avinu did it with alacrity. They even said, give up your child. He got up in the morning, he harnessed his own donkey. That's what we learn from Avram Avinu. As the verse says, Avram Avinu rose early and he himself saddled his donkey in order to demonstrate to all of us as well his joy and his eager desire to fulfill his master and to bring his gratification to his maker. Basically, the Frierdiker Rebbe, the sixth Lubavitcher Rebbe, explains in a discourse dated the 12th of Tammuz, a divine service of repentance should be involved to affect others as well. Now, the challenge of Akei required that Avram, the epitome of love, that's the beauty of the story. Avram, who was chesed, and to reverse his essential nature. Avram Avinu was asked to do something that was totally against who he was, in which the attribute of chesed predominates. If the act will be severity of the attribute of gevurah. Hence, God answered, I know that you fear God. Now you understand when you say in davening every day that God says to Abraham, I know that you really fear God. In this thematical reversal, Avram resembles Baal Tshuva, an entity that changes his reality. A Baal Tshuva changes reality. So to Avram change his reality. This diametrical reversal of Avram resembles a Baal Tshuva. And like a penitence, he sought to share with others his delight in fulfilling God's will. And that's the greatness of Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu not only did it b'simcha, he did b'simcha something that's totally opposite of who he was. Where man no longer of his saying is a chayil of rach. And from this example, our sages, right, and indeed from this form, example of Avram, and with the power that he invested within all his descendants, that our sages of blessed memory learned that alacrity is acquired in a fulfillment of all commandments and generals. Alacrity. Everything should be done like Avram with excitement. But frat b'maisa tzedakah, and especially when it comes to tzedakah, that it should be done with excitement. Ayla kolana, which is above and beyond respect to child, which is superior to all of them. And that protects and saves ones by its fruits that are prepaid in this world. Because many problems with all kinds of calamities that come about. So tzedakah, not only does it you get back, tzedakah, what you get back is protected. That's how you say the Eibusher not only gives you back the money, but he doesn't give you back the money now you have to pay on doctor bills. He gives you back the money and he wants you to enjoy it. Tzedakah tatzim and marvelous. Tzedakah saves from death. What does that mean? And if it saves you from person from death, it surely saves them from all other sufferings. So the Eibusher gives you back the money, and not only gives you back the money, but he makes sure that you enjoy the money. Thus certainly into our benefit, even in this world, to be expeditious as possible, a person should run to give tzedakah. Even more so, more so fulfillment of other commandments, you should run and you should enjoy, you should be happy to give tzedakah, whose reward may not be palpable in this world. Other mitzvahs, your reward is only in Leilam Haba. But tzedakah, your reward is in this world. And not only the tzedakah is the reward in this world, but your reward is protected. For after all, a man is judged every day. So that it is quite possible that he's needed the merit today for tzedakah to protect him from today's judgment. Therefore, the Alter Rebbe begged his chassidim to give tzedakah. The Rebbe begged Yidden to give tzedakah every single day. And that completes the time for today. Today is the 13th day of the month, which is the Tillim of the day is chapter 69 to chapter 71. You do those chapters, you do the chitas of the day. The Rebbe writes there in the 13th day of Tishrei. The Rebbe Marash passed away. The Rebbe Marash was the fourth Lubavitcher Rebbe. He passed away on this date in the year 1882. He was interned he's buried in Lubavitch in Russia. In the beginning of Igeret 22, and it's closed, we're not published in the Igeret HaKodesh. It's printed, so the Alter Rebbe, we're holding now the 21st, so the 22nd letter is not completed. The Rebbe writes, it's printed in the publication Atam, and you can find there the beginning and the end of that letter. And that completes it today in Midshem. We'll see you tomorrow. We're not having a class today. And I'll see you all tomorrow at 8 o'clock. We'll continue the chitas of the day. Have a wonderful and beautiful